Everyone, hope you're doing well. So glad you made it to community group tonight. I'm Pastor Ranjo, and I have a couple questions for you to help guide your discussion. So let's jump right in. So this week we finished up our emotional series with a talk on joy. And we talked about how joy is the one emotion we all want to experience. So, how do we find it? We looked at John chapter 15. It's the famous passage where Jesus says, I am the vine, you are the branches. You must remain in me. And we learned that what he's talking about there is his love. He says, remain in my love, just as I remain in the Father's love. And when you remain in my love, I put my joy in you. Jesus is telling his disciples that he puts his joy in the hearts of his disciples when they remain in his love. And so that's the fullness of joy. That's the complete joy that we're looking for. And he also tells them how to remain in his love. He says, if you obey my commands, you remain in my love. And the one command he gives is to love each other. He says, to remain in my love, all you have to do is love each other as I have loved you. So that's a mini recap of the sermon, and I've got a couple questions for you. The first question is, what in your life besides Jesus? This is a fun question about just things in your life. What in your life brings you joy? If you were on a desert island and for some reason you didn't have to worry about food or shelter or any of your basic needs, and you could just pick one thing that would bring lots of joy to your life, what would you take with you? Take a second and share some of that with your friends. All right, the second question is based on the challenge that we had at the end of the sermon. I asked, what are the gifts that you have that you could use to share God's love with others, with those around you? All of us have gifts, all of us have talents that God has given us, and we can use those gifts to bless other people and to love them with the love of Jesus. So maybe God was bringing something to mind during the sermon, maybe through the week, or even now, if you want to take a few minutes, think about a gift you have that you can share and then share that with the group, just what it is you would like to do to share God's love. Finally, this series has been obviously very emotional. It's brought up a lot of our emotions and caused us to deal with them, our anger, our grief, our fear, even sometimes our lack of joy. And so we just wanted to give you some space to pray for each other. Why don't you share what God's been doing in you through the series, kind of the overarching thing God's been saying to you, and then share that with your group and just spend the rest of your time praying for each other that God would complete that work. Well, that's it for this week. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. Goodbye.